In this video, we will see how accounts transact with each other and also how do they make use of confidential identities. We use Corda to make sure that what you see is what I see, right? But in this case, you and I were nodes till now, right? But with accounts, we aim to achieve is we aim to achieve that what you see is what I see, but you and I are accounts hosted on individual nodes. So for this video, I will use the small application where we will define a token state, a token contract, and a token issue flow. There will be an issuer and owner for this particular application. And what we'll do is the issuers and owners won't be parties anymore, but they will be accounts. So the issuer account will issue a state to the owner account. As we know, states have a participant field, which is of type abstract party. There are two classes which extend abstract party. One is the party class and one is anonymous party class. So instead of adding party class, which extends abstract party, to the participant field, what we'll do is we will add anonymous party to the participant fields. Now this anonymous party actually represents an account. If you see this anonymous party class, it takes in one parameter, which is the public key. Hence, each account must be associated with a public key. So just as a node is associated with a Corda X500 name and a public key, an account is not associated with any Corda X500 name, and hence it is not actually a true identity. But accounts is only associated with a public key. We totally rely on confidential identities to generate these public keys. Let's take a look at the tokens issuance flow. In this flow, what we'll do is we'll issue a token state from issuer account to owner account. To create a public key and associate it with an account, we will use the request key for account flow. This flow will create a public key and it will save the public key to account ID mapping in the database, and it will then return an anonymous party object. So one account can have more than one public key associated with it, and also one public key will belong to only one account. So what we'll do is we'll generate a new key pair, map it to an account. So this all is done by request key for account. And then we'll use this public key to participate in this particular state, which we'll create. So this state is now mapped to the account using the above generated public keys. An account has, what you can say is, an account is a collection of public keys. These public keys are used to participate in the contract state. Now let's move on to signing. Now these bunch of public-private key pairs which are created for accounts using the request key for account, these actually are owned by the host node, and when it comes to account signing, it's actually the host node who signs the transaction using these keys on behalf of the account. Issuer first signs the transaction by passing in its key to sign initial transaction. Here the node actually signs the transaction using this key on behalf of the issuer. We will then call the collect signature flow to get the owner's signature on the transaction by specifying the issuer's key as the last parameter, which tells collect signature flow that issuer has already signed the transaction. And lastly, we will call the finality flow, which will save state in the logical vault for accounts in the node database. Now let's run the flow. So the flow, this token issuance flow, it takes in three parameters. The first is the issuer account name, the second is the owner account name, and next is the account. So we had already created accounts in the previous video using create account flow, and each party had also shared the account info with each other using the share account flow. So if we go and look at the database for party A and party B, we would see that there are two accounts, account 1 and account 2. Account 1 belonging to party A node and account 2 belonging to party B node. Also, if we look at the party B's database, we would see that there are two accounts created in the database. Now let's run the flow. So let's copy this and let's run the flow from party A's side. So party B has account 1 created and party B has account 2 created. So what we'll do is party A, or rather the account 1 hosted on party A node, will issue a token on account 2 hosted on party B node. So let's fire the command on party A side. So the flow has started. Now it's collecting signatures from the counterparty. And now we see that one token state has been issued to account 2 from account 1 with an amount of 10. Now let's see if the token state has been updated and linked to an account on both the nodes. So let's fire this command. So let's hit the vault query for token state type. So let's hit this on party A node. So here you can see that yes, the token state has been linked to an account, and the account, the issuer is this and the owner is this. Similarly, if you hit the same command on party B side, you would see similar data. So the account is linked to an issuer and owner, and this issuer and owner are accounts instead of nodes. Now let's take a look at the database for party A node. Let's look at this table, which is public key hash to external ID map. This table saves a mapping from the account ID. This account ID is nothing but the identifier column from the accounts table. This identifier field uniquely identifies an account in the database. So this table saves a mapping from account ID to the public key. This public key is nothing but the same key which is generated using the request key for account. So we had called the request key for account on party A node for issuer and owner. So how does this request key for account work? So if the account is hosted on the same node on which we are calling this flow, it will generate a key pair and it will return immediately. If the account is not hosted on the same node on which we are calling this flow, so let's take an example like the owner account, which is not hosted on party A, but this is hosted on party B node. In this case, this flow will request party B for a key pair. Party B will create a key pair, save it in its database, and send this key pair back to party A node. Party A node will then eventually save this key pair on its database. Hence, party A is now actually aware of both the accounts, which is account 1 and account 2, and it saves the mapping of both these accounts on its database. But if you look at party B node, B is only aware of the owner's key and B is not aware of the issuer's key. So B is not aware of this particular mapping for account 1. For now, I'm running the token issuance flow on party A side, and hence this does not cause any issues while signing, as party A node is aware of which key belongs to which account. But if you try to run something similar on party B side, this might throw an exception because B is not aware of this mapping. So in such situations, what you should use is, you should use the sync key mapping flow. So ideally what we should do is, we should call the sync key mapping flow from party A side to party B side, which will sync this extra keys which are generated on the party A side, and it will sync these keys, or rather the account to key mapping, from party A to party B. So that's about it for this video. Thank you.